Hi everybody, this is God's Girl G, and thank you so much for joining me today. For those of you who are new to my channel, welcome. And for those of you returning to this channel to watch this video and you're not already subscribed, I am going to encourage you to do so by clicking the subscribe icon below. And if during the course of this video you hear something that you like, click the thumbs up, comment below, or better yet, share this video with someone who you feel could benefit from this information. With that stated, let's get into today's discussion. A beauty like none other turned a simple Jewish girl from being an ordinary citizen into being queen of a nation. But there's something more about this person than what meets the eye. She possessed a courage that helped save her entire race from annihilation. Who am I talking about here? None other than Queen Esther. Her story picks up in the book of Esther in the city of Susa. This was during King Xerxes' third year of reigning as king, where he was giving a lavish party to show the glory and majesty of his kingdom. And this party lasted 180 days. And it ended with his current queen, Queen Vashti, being removed as queen because she refused to come at the king's request. And about 3 years later, King Xerxes was looking for a new queen. And this is where the story picks up. Now, Mordecai was a Jew who had been gathered up in captivity. He lived in Susa and was raising Hadassah, who will later become known by her Persian name, Esther. Now, she was a young woman who the Bible describes as beautiful of form and face. Now, the king's decree goes out and Esther is gathered up along with many other young ladies and put into the custody of Haggai. Now, Haggai showed favor to Esther and quickly began her preparations to go before the king. He gave her cosmetics, food, and 7 maids from the king's palace. He also transferred her to the best living quarters in the harem. And during this time, Esther heeded the instructions of her cousin Mordecai by not revealing that she was a Jew. Now, after 12 months of extensive beauty treatments and preparation, it was Esther's turn to go before the king. Now, instead of choosing garments and things herself, Esther relied on the advice that Haggai gave her. And as a result of listening to Haggai's advice, the king was pleased with Esther. And the Bible says that the king loved Esther more than all the women, and she found favor and kindness with him more than all the virgins. So he made her queen, and Esther still heeded to what her cousin Mordecai told her by not revealing to the king that she was a Jew. Now, as time went on, King Xerxes promoted a man, Haman, to have authority. Now, all of the king's servants would bow and pay homage to Haman, except Esther's cousin Mordecai. He would not bow. And this enraged Haman. And because Mordecai was a Jew, Haman then determined he was going to destroy all Jews throughout the kingdom. And for a whole year, Haman plotted to bring that about. When Mordecai learned of Haman's plans, he grieved over what was coming to his people. Now, when Esther hears that Mordecai was sad and grieving, she didn't know why, so she sent one of the king's eunuchs to find out. And of course, the eunuch finds out all of the details, and he sends word to Esther to go before the king to plead to the king for her people. Now, Esther knew her life was on the line, and she expressed this to Mordecai. And Mordecai reminds her that she is not safe either. And he reminds her that if she refuses, that God will bring deliverance from another place. So Queen Esther issues a fast among the Jewish people and herself for 3 days. After those 3 days, she would go before the king, regardless of the consequences that she would face. Now, when Esther goes before the king the first time, she sensed the timing was not right, but she got the king to respond that he would do anything that she desired. But the second time that Esther goes before the king, the timing was right. And she proceeds to plead for her life and the life of her people. And she explains and points out the plans that Haman had concocted to destroy the Jewish people. And of course, the king is upset. And what the Bible goes on to tell us is that the gallows that Haman had resurrected for Mordecai, Haman ends up hanging on the same gallows that was meant for Mordecai. Mordecai is then elevated over all of the people that Haman had been in charge of. But Esther's quest was not finished. Her people were still in danger because of the decree that had been issued. And although the king could not remove the decree that had already been written, he can declare another decree. The second decree gave the Jewish people the right to defend themselves and to destroy and kill an entire army of people or anyone who may attack them. For one day, the 13th day of the 12th month, Jews would be permitted to destroy as many of the king's own army as they could. The fear of what the Jews would do on this day moved many people to convert and become Jews in order to protect themselves. But Esther had one more request of the king. The day after the Jews defended themselves, she asked the king to allow the Jews in Susa to destroy all 10 of Haman's sons, and the king granted her request. Esther and Mordecai then established the Feast of Purim to remember for all time how Haman's evil schemes were turned around. Now, there are 5 lessons that I want to talk about that we can learn from Queen Esther. 1, God has a plan for your life. God had a plan for Esther's life that blessed the lives of his people. Many times we face obstacles and difficult times that causes our life to be tumultuous. However, we must always remember God has a bigger plan of action, and everything truly happens for a reason. Always remember God has a divine plan. 2, God is sovereign and puts you in the right place at the right time. We see in the story of Queen Esther that God put her in the right place at the right time. Many times we worry if we're in the right place so that God's will can be fulfilled. But remember that our Father is sovereign, and when we ask for his direction, he will put us, just like Queen Esther, in the right place at the right time. 3, be patient to act wisely. Esther was wise in every decision that she made. That's because she kept calm and had the patience to act. She was strategic, and more than that, she did what would please God. So before acting, ask for direction and wisdom. 4, beauty should not make us boastful. From all biblical accounts, Esther was a very beautiful woman, and given a whole year of pampering and beauty treatments, her beauty could only have been enhanced. She could have requested anything, she could have demanded anything, but she was humble and let her inner beauty and her faith in God shine through. Now, you may have been born with physical good looks, but if your attitude or personality is sour, no amount of beauty can cover that up. Remember, God has blessed you with looks, but it's up to you to treat people with respect, be humble and gracious, and remember who created you. 5, our past does not dictate our future. Now, Esther did not come from much, but God had a plan for her life. Esther was an orphan, living in a strange country, and she probably didn't even dream of ever being queen. So no matter where you come from, where you live, or the mistakes that you've made, you can put all of that in the past and move confidently forward, knowing that God has a plan for you, one of hope for your future. Your past does not dictate your future. Only God can. Esther is unquestionably the model of God's purpose in your life. You are born for a time, for a reason, for a season. I can't tell you what that reason is, but what I can tell you is that God's purpose is unique for you and for his kingdom. How do you find your purpose in God? You find it by fasting, praying, reading his word, and abiding in him. That's what Esther did. And look how God used her. You have a purpose. Don't be afraid to find it. And have Esther's unwavering faith and courage to take action when the time comes. For maybe you too were born for such a time as this. Thank you so much for joining me today. And don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, and share. Bye.